Ellie Cornelius, and I'm coming to you today from Luna Elementary in Garland. Our discussion topic for today is about an informative assessment tool called GoFormative that allows you to kind of customize the assessments that you give your kids. Hold on, let me turn my mic down over here. Assessment tool called GoFormative. Okay. So I have been teaching for 12 years. I taught second grade and first grade, and I'm now at Luna Elementary as the intervention teacher. I am mobile on my campus, meaning we go round and round with carts. And so I go from classroom to classroom for pullouts. So the technology that I have to use is I have iPads, I have Chromebooks, I have my desktop computer. So I don't have specific technology that my students are in because they don't come to my room. So again, like I said, our webinar today is to share about GoFormative. As teachers, I know that assessment is the crux of what we do. You know, it helps us to see what have our students taken away from our learning, our teaching, and whether or not they have grasped the concept, and it helps us to know what to do to move forward. So GoFormative is a free online program that teachers can access to create individualized real-time assessments that students can receive feedback on immediately. So the thought process behind it is that educators, we are inundated with piles of student work, lengthy amounts of time to get it graded, get it back to them, carried back to school, and so on. By the time we're able to return it to our students, we really miss the mark on being able to give them feedback in the moment. If they get it back a week later, they've moved on. They're on to something else. So if we have the ability to give them help with something while they're struggling, then we have the ability to possibly close those gaps more easily. With GoFormative, teachers have the ability to customize the types of assessments they want to create for their students. Anything from fill in the blank, multiple choice, short answer, show your work. All of those are options to you. Okay. On top of all that, the great thing is you can link the questions that you put in your assessments to your standards, and it has a custom ability for you to search the standards. And then you can give them the URL. They can take some technology. They can take a Chromebook, an iPad, go wherever they need to in the room or in the school building with your link to your assessment and take their test. You will have the ability to see their answers in real time and answer and send their work right back to them. Okay. All right. So the ISTE standards that we are talking about, that we are working with, are the standards by which we want for our students to be able to enable them to engage and thrive in a connected digital world. So this standard is for students to be able to set personal learning goals. Oh, y'all have bad feedback. Hold on. Students are able to articulate and set personal learning goals, develop strategies, and leverage technology to achieve them, and reflect on the learning process itself to improve learning outcomes. So that's our goal for today. So now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to walk you through setting up an account on GoFormative and setting up your first assessment on GoFormative and show you a couple of tips and tricks about how it works. So the title of the website is called GoFormative. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is you're going to want to navigate to the homepage, which is GoFormative.com, as we can see right here. Now, as you can see, Teachers and students sign up for free, but then there is also a paid version that schools and districts can have. You can pay a little bit more, and you can have a few more features that aren't available in the free version. But for now, I've already set myself up an account, but I'm going to show you how to go through um, and do a sign up. So you sign in or sign up, we are teachers. Okay. And so then I just signed up as myself. So I did, my work email, I chose a password, and then I clicked free account. So it's as easy as that. So I'm going to go ahead and log us in as me. Okay. Okay. Okay, and so this is what your GoFormative dashboard will look like when you log in. Now, normally these would not be here. These are assessments that I've created for our training purposes today. But as you can see, you've got formatives, you've got classes, you've got tracker, got several different tabs up here at the top. So for our purposes, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a GoFormative. Okay, so we click up here in the left-hand corner, and we're going to do an add new formative. Okay, internet is thinking. Okay, so we want to title it, and since we have Veterans Day coming up, I thought we would just go ahead and do an assessment on Veterans Day. Okay, and we're going to put assignment type. We're going to say, this is a great thing, is you have the ability to turn each assessment into whatever you need it to be. Okay, so this is going to be, we're not going to call it an exit slip, but this would be a great program for exit tickets. We're just going to call it an assignment. Okay, all right, so now you are going to edit your assignment. First thing, okay, hold on. All right, so we hit our plus sign here, okay? All right, and so this is the drop-down box that you're gonna get, okay? So for the first purposes, we're gonna go ahead and talk about add question. You have several different questions you can add. You can add a multiple choice, a multiple selection, a short answer, an essay question, a show your work, and a true or false, okay? So for our purposes, we are going to do our first one is going to be short answer. Okay, so we type our question. Okay, and then I changed my mind and I decided instead of it being a short answer, we're going to do a multiple selection. Okay, so then here I'm going to type in my answer choices. Okay, and so then I'm going to come down here. Okay, and I'm going to select November 11th as my answer. Okay, all right, and then the neat thing about it is that we have the ability right here where it says tag standard. Okay, and it does this for you. It kind of does a search based upon what you put in your question, and it kind of pulls up the standards that might align with it the closest. Okay, so we're going to go with standard 2.1a, the significance of various community, state, and national celebrations. So I click that. Okay. All right, and so that's question number 1. So I've decided I'm good with that. Oh, actually, one more thing. You can weight your points, okay? So let's say that my test is going to be worth 50 points, and I'm going to do 5 questions. So then what I do is I can make this question worth 10 points. Okay, so I'm happy with that. And so I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to go on to my next question. Okay, with this one, we are going to do a short answer. So we're going to do that. Okay, type my question. What? Okay. All right, now you can add your correct answer. Okay, so this kind of lets you put in what you want your kids to answer. A veteran, say man, woman. Okay. Again, tag standard. Okay, and now I'm going to go to my true false. Let's try adding one of those. Okay. All right. Two. Okay, so to be a veteran, you must have served in a war. So we obviously know that this is false. I'm going to make sure that I set that as my answer. Okay. All right. And then the next one that we're going to look at is we're going to look at a show your work. Okay. All right. So you type your question in a show your work, and then as you can see down here, a background pops up. And so the students, when they get this assessment, they will have an opportunity. They'll get this blank canvas, and they'll have the ability to answer with their being able to draw something for you. You could use that for a graphing question. You could use that for a, I guess, an art type question if you had one. And you can also add a background image to this page, like graph paper or an empty, like an empty flow chart or an empty dot plot, and they could just place their answers on there. Okay, so that's how we do a show your work question. Okay, so those are kind of the main questions. Actually, we'll do one more. Do a multiple selection. Okay, this is kind of like multiple choice. I'm actually really not 100% sure what the difference is between, except that this one seems to have more space for like typing out longer answer choices. So why? Okay, so we're going to do why should we celebrate Veterans Day? Okay, and then on my answer choices, I'll put some questions, some choices. Okay. Okay. To make sure you type the right thing. Okay, and so once I've got my answer choices in there, okay, and look, you also don't have to have 4 answer choices. You can delete them and delete an answer choice. You also have the ability to add one. So you want to make 5 answer choices. You have that ability down here. You just click add option. Okay, all right, so I'm going to go back and make sure. I'm going to set that as my right answer, finish my statement here. All veterans. Okay. All right. Okay, so I've got me 5 questions for my assessment. Okay, so now let's say that I'm finished. Okay, but first I want to go to the preview screen to see kind of what my students will see when they log in. Okay, so this is what they will see. They have a multiple choice question, they have an open-ended short answer, they have a true false, they have a show your work, and then they have I need to go back. See, I left these two squares. So I go back to my edit screen. Okay, and I'm going to go down. I'm going to delete these two choices. Okay, go back to preview. Okay, looks good. Okay. But then let's say that I decide I would like to add, I want to add some content to my assessment. I want to add you have 4 choices in your assessments. You can either add an image, a block of text, a whiteboard, or you can even add a YouTube video. Okay. So I'm going to go back to my edit screen and I'm going to click my plus sign. And again, this is my building and editing version of my test. And I'm going to add a video for my students to watch, right? So I can go to YouTube. Okay. Find a Veterans Day video. Obviously, you want to make sure that you have these pre-screened. All right. Let's do Veterans Day history. Okay. And let's say I want to do this little clip from the History Channel.
Let's suppose that you're writing a really important email to a colleague.
Mm-hmm. So I copy my link. Then I go back to my assessment. I paste in my link. And there it will be. Okay. All right. So let's say that I decide that I want to add in. Okay. Okay. So then let's say that I decide I want to add an image. Okay. I can choose a file that I have saved on my computer. Let's say that maybe I have a blurb or a passage on Veterans Day. I could load it up here. And then the last thing we're going to look at about adding content is when we add a whiteboard to our GoFormative. The purpose of the whiteboard is for a teacher to model a concept for their students. Okay, so we'll come over here to add content, whiteboard. Okay, and then you have the ability to model something that you want to show them. Okay, so maybe you want to show them the history of the Veterans Day, the ribbons that we wear. Okay, all right. Okay, again, this is just an example, not that they would have anything that they do for this one, but you could do, oh, sorry, question mark. Okay, and then we hit done. Okay, all right, so let's say that we feel comfortable with our assessment so far. You know, we feel like we're done. We go to the preview screen. Okay, and we scroll Get it to scroll up here. Okay, so we've got our video. Okay, so we decide, you know what? All right, we're ready to test our students. Okay, all right. So we go up to the corner where we see the assign button. Click assign. Okay, now I have gone ahead, actually, let's go back for a second. At the beginning of our screen, remember when we added a new GoFormative and there was a classes tab, you'll need to go into that classes and you'll need to assign all of your students, first name, last name, and then a login. Okay. All right. So here I've clicked assign. All right. And I want to make this, I want this to go to my class and I set up for webinar class. Okay. And I want to, I'm going to return. Okay. And I'm going to assign. Okay. All right. So now, okay, your students have been assigned this test. And so we click get a link. Okay. So here's my link. So let's say that you're working on, something, your students are working on a work plan and you want them to go and take this assessment. So you place the link here. Okay. Okay, hold on. All right. So you click, okay, save link. Okay. And then you give, okay, you give your students that link. Not sure why it's, okay. All right. Now, your students will take this link and they will paste it into they will paste it into their browser, or if they have an account with GoFormative, then they simply log in and the assessment will be there assigned to them. Okay. All right. Now, you as the teacher have the opportunity to click view responses. Okay. Here's my class. Here's what your class will look like when you log in to see who has taken their assignment. So I can see here that Susan Anderson hasn't taken it. I can see that none of my kiddos have taken it. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to log out as the teacher and I'm going to take you through what does the student screen look like. Okay. So as a student, I'm going to go to my screen. And I'm going to log in. I'm going to log in as Milo. Okay. So see, here are the two assessments that have been assigned to Milo. Okay. So I'm going to enter. If our internet will work. And here's what Milo will see. Okay. So as we go down, okay, what date is Veterans Day? And Milo picks some answers. Okay, Milo is very, very bright and paid attention. So he picks November 11th. He answers his short answer. He knows that's false. And then he says, oh, Miss Cornelius didn't load a question here for me. Then he comes down to question 5. Why should we celebrate Veterans Day? Chooses his answer. Okay, and he sees this whiteboard. And again, this had a question that went along with it. He would answer it there. All right. He has to come up here, show your work. And maybe he wants to show that he knows the ribbon and what it looks like. Okay. So he feels confident that he's finished. He clicks submit. Okay. All right. So then we see, okay, this assignment has already been submitted and is no longer editable. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and log in as the teacher. We're going to see what she sees of Milo. Okay. All right, so look, she shows, oh, one person has responded. Okay, so she looks down. Wait, hold on. She clicks on this, and this takes her to Milo's page. And we see Milo, he did it. Okay, and he made 100. Okay. All right, we click on Jason, and we see that he has not done it, and Susan hasn't done it. So as a teacher, you have the ability to, okay, click on which ones that he had, that you see that he got incorrect. Okay. And when you're creating your assignment, I forgot to put that on there, you want to make sure that you click that you will give responses back immediately. And so that way, when they take the assessment, they immediately get back the key of whether they got the answer right or not. Okay. This is the last thing that I'll show you. The other great thing about GoFormative is if you think, oh my gosh, I have all these assessments that I've already done and they're on paper. What do I do? Well, load them up as a Word or as a PDF document, and then you can actually upload them into GoFormative and you can turn them into a formative assessment. This was an adjective test I used to give to my first graders way back when. And so I uploaded it, and then I turned each one of my questions that I had already on there, and I just made them a multiple choice instead of having them circle their answer. Okay. So that is really it's a very basic beginning understanding of GoFormative. There are so many other things that you can do with this tool. You can use it for exit tickets. You can use it for assessments. You can use it for class workstations. Really, the opportunities, the possibilities are endless. So do we have any questions? All right, guys. Well, that's really, like I said, that's kind of the beginning, scratching the surface of what you can use GoFormative for. So we had a little bit of an issue with the link for the CPE credit. So you'll have to message the uh, digital learning, sorry, drew a blank, to get the link for you to get credit for today, but you can get credit. So thank you so much for joining me. And again, I apologize, I was a little bit late, had some technology issues, and can't wait to hear or see you guys use GoFormative in your classroom. So have a good one.